Looks like a fish in the water, but upside down. Oh. 個藍高飛我。
他说训练就是又爬这一段，
应该是
上一段是看了。
这一段在训练，在教学那个时候。더 찍고 싶어?
아니 나 갖고 왔어.
Let's look at trees. suckers.
I know, she like, anyways.
You guys have someone taking your picture? Okay. You know what? Our kids love pushing that bed is huge.
찍어서 도움을 찍어줘. 어디 갔어?
저기. 어디 갔냐?
가자.
어째 더 멀리 가는데?
그러니까.
가자.
떠나버려.
씨.